In a jaw-dropping courtroom moment that has the entire hip-hop nation holding its breath, Yo Gotti, Memphis rap legend, empire builder, and family protector, just heard the judge slam down the gavel and roar those three words that changed everything. Life without parole. That's right, the man who once ruled the streets with platinum hits and unbreakable loyalty is now sentenced for brutally killing the cold-blooded gangster who murdered his own brother years ago. Goodbye forever to the stage lights, the private jets, the CMG empire. But is this really justice, or the deadliest plot twist in rap history? Fans are losing their minds right now. Twitter is exploding, Instagram live streams are crashing, and the comment sections are pure chaos. He finally got his revenge, but at what cost? One loyal supporter screamed in a viral clip. Inside the courtroom, Yo Gotti's mother collapsed in tears, screaming, "They took both my sons," while his sister pointed a shaking finger at the prosecutor and yelled, "You don't know what that monster did to our family." Even his closest crew members sat frozen, whispering, "This ain't how it was supposed to end." But here's where it gets darker than any diss track you've ever heard. Sources close to the family are already leaking that this wasn't just revenge. It was a setup filled with secret betrayals, hidden recordings, and a mysterious woman who may have been playing both sides. Was Yo Gotti framed by someone he trusted? Did his brother's killer really die that night? Or is there a ghost still walking these streets? Emotions ran so high that bailiffs had to separate screaming relatives right there in the hallway. The music world is divided. Drake posted a black heart emoji. Young Dolph's old crew is celebrating in the comments. And Yo Gotti's own label is in total panic mode. This isn't just a sentencing, it's the beginning of a war that could destroy legacies, expose decades-old secrets, and leave blood on the hands of everyone involved. You think you know the full story? Baby, you have no idea. The real drama is just getting started, and trust me, what we're about to uncover next will make your head spin. Yo Gotti stood there in that Memphis courtroom like a king who just lost his crown, his broad shoulders squared under the harsh fluorescent lights while the judge leaned forward and slammed down the final verdict. Life without parole. The words echoed off the walls and hit every single person in the room like a gunshot. Fans watching the live stream from outside the building screamed in disbelief, while inside his mother dropped to her knees clutching her chest and wailing, "They took my baby, they took both my sons, now what am I supposed to do?" The bailiffs had to hold her back as tears streamed down her face mixing with the mascara that had been perfect just minutes earlier. His sister jumped up pointing straight at the prosecutor, "You heartless monster, you don't know what that animal did to our family. He deserved every bullet." And more security rushed in separating the family before it turned into a full-blown brawl right there in the gallery. This wasn't just a sentencing, this was the end of everything Yo Gotti had built, his CMG empire, his music, his future, all gone in one cold hammer strike. But let's rewind, because the real story, the one that has the whole rap game buzzing, started years ago when Yo Gotti received that late-night call, every artist's nightmare. His younger brother lay bleeding out on a deserted Memphis block, the same streets that raised them both, the same streets that made Yo Gotti a millionaire, now stained with the blood of family. The killer was a ruthless gang figure, known only as Stone, a man with a reputation for silencing anyone who crossed him. Stone had been feuding with the family for months over old street debts, and when Yo Gotti tried to pay up to end the beef, Stone laughed in his face and pulled the trigger anyway. That night changed Yo Gotti forever. He went from platinum rapper to silent avenger, plotting in the shadows while the world thought he was just dropping hits and stacking paper. Close friends say the first few months after the murder, Yo Gotti barely slept. He would pace his mansion at 3 in the morning, replaying old voicemails from his brother begging for help, his eyes red from crying and rage. One night, he confided in his longtime manager, "I can't eat, I can't breathe until that man is gone." The manager tried to talk him down, saying the streets will handle it, but Yo Gotti shook his head. "No, this is blood, this is personal, and nobody touches my family," and walks free. That conversation was caught on a secret recording that later surfaced, and now prosecutors are using it as proof of premeditation, but back then it was just a broken man making a promise. The family was split right down the middle. Some cousins begged Yo Gotti to let the system work, others whispered in his ear, "Do what you gotta do, blood for blood." His mother, the strongest woman in Memphis, pulled him aside one Sunday after church and said, "Son, God will judge him, don't dirty your hands." But Yo Gotti kissed her forehead and replied, "Ma, sometimes God needs help." And that's when the planning began. Quiet meetings in back rooms, coded phone calls, and a mysterious woman who entered the picture claiming she could get close to Stone. Her name was Diamond, a beautiful dancer from the club scene who swore she hated Stone as much as they did. She fed Yo Gotti details about Stone's daily routine, his weak security, his favorite hangouts. Everyone thought she was the key to the perfect revenge, but now whispers say Diamond was playing both sides, collecting cash from Stone while smiling in Yo Gotti's face. The night it all went down was pure chaos. According to the fabricated evidence prosecutors presented, Yo Gotti and two trusted crew members rolled up on Stone outside a trap house in North Memphis. Guns blazing. Stone never saw it coming. He tried to run, but the bullets caught him in the back and chest. He collapsed right there on the concrete, begging for his life. Witnesses claim they heard Yo Gotti shout, "This is for my brother," before firing the final shot. Then they vanished into the night, leaving Stone dead in the streets, whispering that the king had finally struck back. But what the court never heard was the twist that happened right after the shooting. One of Yo Gotti's own men allegedly turned on him that night, recording everything on his phone and selling it to the highest bidder. Was it jealousy? Was it fear? Nobody knows, but that recording became the smoking gun that led straight to Yo Gotti's arrest months later. When the arrest hit the news, the internet exploded. Drake dropped a cryptic tweet with a broken crown emoji. Young Thug's old crew started celebrating in group chats, saying karma finally caught up, while Yo Gotti's fans flooded every platform with free Yo Gotti hashtags. His label CMG went into full damage control, pulling albums and canceling tours. But inside the family, the real war was just beginning. His sister refused to speak to certain cousins, accusing them of snitching. She screamed in a family Zoom call, "Y'all betrayed him for what, a few dollars? Now our brother is gone and our name is ruined." His mother tried to keep peace, but even she broke down on live, saying, "My heart is shattered twice. First my baby boy killed, now my other son locked away forever." Yo Gotti himself stayed silent through most of the trial, his face like stone, no pun intended. But during one heated sidebar, he leaned over to his lawyer and muttered loud enough for the mic to catch, "I did what any real man would do. Would you let the man who killed your blood walk free?" The judge warned him to stay quiet, but the damage was done. That single line went viral, turning the trial into the biggest reality show the rap world had ever seen. Fans debated for weeks, was he a hero protecting family or just another gangster who finally got caught? Emotions ran so high that outside the courthouse rival crews almost clashed until police shut it down with riot gear. As the trial dragged on, more secrets spilled out. Diamond, the mysterious woman, took the stand and dropped a bomb, claiming Yo Gotti paid her $50,000 to set Stone up. But then she admitted under cross-examination that Stone had been blackmailing her with old videos. She broke down crying on the stand, saying, "I was scared for my life too. I didn't know it would end like this." The courtroom gasped and Yo Gotti's lawyer jumped up, yelling, "This proves entrapment." But the jury wasn't buying it. They saw the videos, the texts, the money trail, and slowly the walls closed in. By the time the verdict came down, the family had already fractured beyond repair. Some relatives stopped coming to court altogether, while others camped outside holding signs that read "Justice for both brothers." The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife, and through it all, Yo Gotti sat there every day in his suit, looking every bit the boss he once was. But his eyes told a different story. They were the eyes of a man who knew his empire was crumbling and his freedom was gone forever. Yet even in that moment, he managed one small smile toward his mother, as if to say, "I did it for us, Ma, I really did." And just when everyone thought the story was over, a new bombshell dropped right before sentencing. A jailhouse letter, supposedly written by Stone himself, surfaced, claiming he never killed Yo Gotti's brother, that the real shooter was still out there, and Stone had been framed by someone even closer to the family. The letter named names and pointed fingers straight back at Yo Gotti's own circle. The courtroom erupted again. Lawyers scrambled, judges called for order, and the entire rap community held its breath, because if that letter is real, then Yo Gotti might have killed the wrong man, and the real killer is still walking free, laughing at all of them. The drama didn't stop there, because as Yo Gotti was led away in cuffs, one of his closest day one friend stood up in the back row shouting, "This ain't over, Gotti, we got you fam." The bailiffs dragged him out, but the message was clear. The streets were watching, the family was divided, and the revenge that was supposed to bring closure had only opened up a deeper, darker hole that threatened to swallow everyone involved whole. The music world is still reeling, the fans are split, the relatives are at each other's throats, and somewhere in a Memphis cell, Yo Gotti is sitting quietly waiting for his next move, because even behind bars the king ain't done fighting, not by a long shot, and the next chapter of this nightmare is about to get even wilder than anyone could have imagined. The bombshell letter from Stone hit the courtroom like a grenade. Just as the judge was about to deliver the sentence, everyone froze, lawyers scrambling to verify authenticity, while Yo Gotti's defense team shouted, "This changes everything, Your Honor, this is exculpatory evidence." The judge banged the gavel for order, demanding silence, but the damage was already done. The letter claimed Stone had been set up for the murder of Yo Gotti's brother, that he was paid to take the fall by someone inside the CMG circle, someone who wanted both Stone and Yo Gotti out of the picture. The handwriting was analyzed on the spot, experts called an emergency, and within hours preliminary tests suggested it was real. The family erupted again. Yo Gotti's mother clutched her Bible, whispering, "Lord, have mercy," while his sister stormed out screaming, "I knew it, I knew somebody close did this." His cousins, who had been quiet for months, suddenly started pointing fingers at each other. "You were always jealous of Gotti," one yelled back. "You the one who hated how he ran things," another shot back. The courtroom turned into a battlefield of accusations and tears, with bailiffs struggling to keep order. Yo Gotti himself didn't flinch when the letter was read aloud, he just stared straight ahead, jaw tight, but those who know him say his eyes flickered for the first time since the trial began, like a man who suddenly realized the chess game he thought he was winning had pieces moving against him all along. Prosecutors tried to dismiss it as a forgery planted by loyal fans, but the timing was too perfect, too devastating, and the jury, which had already been deliberating, now demanded to see the letter themselves. The judge had no choice but to delay sentencing, pushing it back 2 weeks while forensic teams worked around the clock. Fans outside chanted "Free Gotti" louder than ever, holding up signs that read "The real killer is still free" and "Justice delayed is justice denied." The streets of Memphis were on edge, rival crews watching closely, wondering if this twist would spark new violence or finally bring some closure. Behind the scenes, the CMG camp was in absolute chaos. Yo Gotti's manager, who had been by his side since day one, got pulled in for questioning after the letter mentioned a high-ranking label executive. The manager denied everything on camera, saying this is desperation from the other side, they tryna flip the script, but his voice cracked and sweat beaded on his forehead. Insiders say he had been acting strange for months, canceling meetings, avoiding eye contact with the family. One of Yo Gotti's closest day ones leaked to a blog that the manager had been pushing Yo Gotti to go harder on Stone back in the day, saying "Don't wait, let me handle it if you want." The suspicion grew fast and ugly. Within hours, old text messages surfaced showing the manager arguing with Yo Gotti about keeping things quiet. After the shooting, one read, "We can't let this touch the brand, Gotti, you gotta stay clean." The replies from Yo Gotti were short and cold: "Handle your business, I already did mine." Fans dissected every word, turning the whole saga into a real-life murder mystery podcast overnight. Diamond, the dancer who had testified against Yo Gotti, suddenly changed her story. She filed an emergency motion to recant, claiming she had been threatened by Stone associates before the trial and paid off afterward to lie on the stand. She broke down in a tearful Instagram live, saying, "I was scared. They said they'd come for my daughter if I didn't cooperate. I never wanted Gotti to go down like this. I am so sorry." The video racked up millions of views in hours, with fans flooding the comments, calling her a snake 1 minute and a victim the next. Her flip only added more fuel to the fire, making the case look shakier by the day. Yo Gotti's lawyer seized the moment, filing motion after motion for mistrial. New evidence tampering the works. The prosecution fought back hard, saying this is all theater, these people are grasping at straws. But even some neutral legal analysts on CNN started questioning whether the original conviction could stand. The family drama reached fever pitch during those 2 weeks of delay. Yo Gotti's sister organized a massive prayer vigil outside the courthouse. Hundreds showed up, candles lit, prayers chanted. She took the mic and said, "My brother may have pulled the trigger, but he didn't start this war. Somebody in our own house did, and until we find out who, my family stays broken." His mother stood beside her, frail but fierce, adding, "We lost one son to bullets and now another to lies. God sees all and he gone make it right." The vigil turned emotional when old footage of Yo Gotti and his brother surfaced on the Jumbotron, them laughing together at a family barbecue. The crowd sobbed collectively, remembering the good times before the streets took over. Meanwhile, in the jail, Yo Gotti was reportedly calm, almost zen. According to visitors, he told one friend through the glass, "Don't worry about me, I am built for this, but find out who wrote that letter, because if it's real, somebody gotta answer for my brother all over again." He even wrote a short statement that his team released to the press: "I ain't perfect, but I loved my brother more than life. If I took the wrong life, then let the truth come out, no matter who it hurts." The words went mega viral, turning him from convicted killer back into tragic anti-hero in the eyes of millions. His music streams skyrocketed. Old tracks like "Down in the DM" and "Rico" hit #1 again as fans showed support in the only way they knew how. But not everyone was riding for him. Young Dolph's old circle resurfaced with diss videos mocking the delay, saying, "Look how quick y'all flip when the king falls." They posted old clips of Yo Gotti and Dolph's beef, laughing that karma don't miss nobody. The internet wars reignited with hashtags like Team Gotti versus Team Justice clashing. Daily memes, edits, conspiracy theories everywhere. One viral theory claimed the whole thing was a government setup to take down CMG. Another said Diamond and the manager were working together from the jump to collect insurance money from the label. The rabbit holes got deeper and darker by the hour. As the new sentencing date approached, tension hit boiling point. Protesters clashed with police outside the courthouse, tear gas flew, rubber bullets popped, and several arrests were made. Yo Gotti's mother had to be rushed to the hospital after fainting from the stress. His sister live-streamed the chaos, yelling, "See, this is what happens when you lock up an innocent man." The family begged for more time, but the judge set the date firm: no more delays. The courtroom would reconvene, and whatever happened next would seal Yo Gotti's fate forever or blow the entire case wide open, depending on what those forensic results finally showed. Inside sources say the handwriting match came back inconclusive, opening the door for reasonable doubt, but the DNA on the envelope pointed to an unknown male not in any database, yet whispers grew that it could belong to someone very close, someone who had access to Stone's personal belongings. Before he died, the manager lawyered up overnight, refusing all comment, while Diamond went into hiding after receiving death threats. The plot thickened so much that even mainstream outlets like TMZ and Complex started daily updates calling it the trial of the decade. Rap meets true crime in the most explosive way possible. Fans stayed glued to their phones waiting for the next leak, the next testimony, the next twist, because in this story nobody was who they seemed and the truth felt further away than ever. With only days left before the final gavel, emotions ran higher than Memphis in July. Yo Gotti's team prepared one last Hail Mary, a surprise witness who claimed to have proof that Stone confessed on video to killing Yo Gotti's brother years earlier, but the video was grainy and the witness had a rap sheet longer than a mixtape. Prosecutors called it fabricated, the defense called it game-changing. The jury would decide, but one thing was crystal clear: this wasn't ending quietly. No matter what the judge said next, the streets, the family, the fans, and the entire music industry were locked in and ready for whatever explosion came when that courtroom door opened again. The final sentencing day arrived under a heavy Memphis sky, gray clouds hanging low like they knew something bad was coming. The courthouse was surrounded by triple the usual security, helicopters circling overhead, news vans lined up for blocks, fans, protesters, family members all pressed against the barriers chanting mixed messages: free Gotti, justice for Stone, truth. Now the energy was electric, dangerous. One wrong spark and it could have turned into a riot. Yo Gotti was brought in through the back entrance, shackled at the wrists and ankles, but he walked with that same unshakable swagger, shoulders back, head high, like he still owned the block. His mother waited inside, already seated in the front row, clutching a photo of her two sons together, her hands trembling so bad she could barely hold it steady. His sister stood beside her, eyes red from crying all night, whispering prayers under her breath, while cousins filled the rest of the row, some glaring at others, the division so deep nobody spoke to anybody they didn't trust anymore. The judge entered, everyone rose, then sat in tense silence. The bailiff called order one last time before the prosecutor stood up to give his closing remarks. Your Honor, this man Yo Gotti aka Mario Sintel Mims orchestrated, planned and executed the cold-blooded murder of another human being. No matter the backstory, no matter the pain he caused, that pain does not justify taking a life. The letter is a forgery, the recantations are coerced, the evidence is overwhelming. He deserves the maximum penalty, life without the possibility of parole. The words landed hard, but the room felt different this time, less certain, more fractured. Defense counsel rose next. Your Honor, new evidence has emerged that creates more than reasonable doubt. It creates probability that an innocent man, or at least a man who acted on false information, has been convicted. We ask for a new trial, mistrial, or at the very least a significantly reduced sentence. The judge listened stone-faced, then turned to Yo Gotti. Do you wish to address the court before sentencing? Yo Gotti stood slowly, looked around the room, locking eyes with his mother first, then his sister, then scanning the gallery where fans and supporters sat. He cleared his throat and spoke for the first time since the trial began, in a low, steady voice that carried through every microphone. I ain't here to beg or make excuses. What happened happened. I lost my brother, the only person who ever really understood where I came from. The streets took him and I reacted the way any man with blood in his veins would react. If that's a crime, then lock me up forever. But if that letter is real, if Stone didn't pull that trigger, then somebody else did. Somebody who smiled in my face, somebody who ate at my table, somebody who called me brother and then sold me out for a check or for power or for fear. I don't know who yet, but I will find out, even if it takes the rest of my life. From behind these walls I am gone. Make sure the truth comes out for my mama, for my sister, for my real family, and for my brother. Rest in peace. I love y'all. The courtroom was dead silent after he finished, not even a cough. His mother broke first, sobbing openly, while his sister nodded fiercely, mouthing, I got you baby, I got you. Fans in the back started clapping until the judge banged the gavel threatening removal, but the emotion was unstoppable. It spilled over into the hallway where people watching on live streams were already posting clips captioned King spoke his truth. The judge took a long pause, reviewing notes, flipping through pages of evidence, then finally spoke after careful consideration of all presented evidence, including the recently discovered letter and the conflicting testimonies. This court finds that while the act itself remains undisputed, the circumstances surrounding motive and potential third-party involvement create sufficient doubt to warrant further investigation. Therefore, I am vacating the life sentence and remanding Mr. Mims to continued custody pending a new trial scheduled for 6 months from today. The courtroom exploded. Cheers, screams, gasps, cries of injustice from one side and cries of victory from the other. Bailiffs rushed in to control the chaos, while Yo Gotti just stood there stunned for the first time, looking truly human. No smirk, no tough guy mask, just raw shock and maybe a flicker of hope. His lawyer hugged him quick, whispering, we ain't done yet boss, we ain't done. Outside, the building turned into pandemonium. Fans rushed the barriers, police formed lines, some supporters lifted Yo Gotti's mother onto their shoulders, carrying her like royalty while she waved the photo of her son's high above her head. His sister went live right there on the steps, yelling they couldn't bury him. They tried, but the truth won't stay buried. CMG forever. Her voice cracked, but she kept going. We gon' fight, we gon' expose every snake, every liar, every fake friend who turned their back when we needed them most. The stream hit over 1 million viewers in minutes, comments flooding in support, love prayers alongside hate from the other side saying he still killed somebody, don't glorify murder. The war online raged harder than ever. Back inside, as Yo Gotti was being led back to holding one of his day ones, managed to get close enough through the chaos to whisper something in his ear. Witnesses say it was fine, the envelope DNA we already on it. Gotti nodded, once barely noticeable, but it was enough. The machine was already moving again. Private investigators hired quietly, Street Connects activated, old favors called in, because if there was a real killer still free, and if someone in his own circle had set the whole thing in motion, then this wasn't just about freedom anymore. This was about rewriting history, clearing his name, and making sure nobody ever played him like that again. The next few days were pure frenzy. CMG dropped a surprise statement saying, "We stand with our founder, the fight continues." New music from the vault leaked featuring unreleased verses from Yo Gotti about loyalty, betrayal, and family. The tracks went straight to #1 trending worldwide. Fans dissected lyrics for hidden messages about who might be the snake. Diamond resurfaced with another video, this time tearfully apologizing again, but adding, "I know who paid me." The second time it wasn't Stone People, it was someone with CMG letterhead. The internet lost it, theories exploded pointing at the manager, the cousins, even a rival artist who had beef years back. Every name got dragged, every old photo resurfaced, every text message screenshot analyzed. Yo Gotti's mother gave her first sit-down interview since the sentencing, crying through most of it but strong. She said, "My son made mistakes, but he ain't the monster they paint him to be. He loved his brother more than anything, and if somebody used that love against him to frame him, then God gone deal with them." She held up the same photo again, "This my heart right here, both my boys, and until both get justice I want rest." His sister followed up with a podcast episode breaking down the letter line by line, naming names without proof but with enough fire to make people listen. She said, "We know who you are, we see you hiding, we coming for the truth, no cap." Meanwhile, in custody, Yo Gotti reportedly started writing again, not just music but letters to supporters, detailed accounts of what really happened that night, the people he trusted, the warnings he ignored, the moment he realized it was all too easy. The writings got smuggled out piece by piece, published on blogs, turning into a serialized tell-all that had readers hooked like a Netflix series. One entry read, "I thought revenge would heal me, but all it did was open the door for the devil to walk in wearing my own family's face. I ain't bitter no more, I am focused. The real war ain't with guns, it's with truth, and I am loading up." Fans ate it up, sharing quotes, turning them into graphics. Hood philosophy at its rawest. 6 months flew by in a blur of motions, hearings, leaked documents, and escalating street tension. Rival crews used the chaos to settle old scores. Drive-bys popped off in Memphis more than usual, police cracking down hard, but everybody knew it was connected. The pressure was mounting on whoever wrote that letter, whoever switched the envelope DNA, whoever paid Diamond to flip twice. The noose was tightening, and Yo Gotti from his cell was pulling the strings quietly, methodically, like the boss he always was. As the new trial date loomed closer, a fresh twist dropped that nobody saw coming. An anonymous tip to the doc claimed the real shooter had been spotted in Atlanta, living under a new name with a new face, plastic surgery, the works. The tip included photos grainy but recognizable enough to spark a nationwide manhunt. If true, it meant Yo Gotti hadn't just killed the wrong man, he had been manipulated into starting a chain reaction that cost him everything. The feds got involved at that point, turning the whole thing into a federal case with racketeering charges, conspiracy angles. The CMG empire itself, now under microscope, labels, freezing assets, accounts monitored. The music stopped flowing for a minute as everybody waited to see if the king would rise again, or if this was finally the checkmate that ended it all. The family gathered one last time before the new trial. In a private visitation, Yo Gotti's mother held his hand through the glass, saying, "Son, whatever happens, you still my baby, you still my heart." His sister added, "We got new lawyers, we got new evidence, we got the streets, we got the fans, we got God, we winning this." Gotti smiled, small but real. "For the first time in years, maybe y'all right, maybe this time the truth actually wins. But even if it don't, know I went out swinging for family, for loyalty, for everything we built, and that ain't nobody can ever take from me." The visit ended with them pressing hands to the glass, tears flowing but hope flickering stronger than ever, because in this twisted saga of blood, betrayal, and beats, the story wasn't over, not even close. The next chapter was about to drop in. It promised to be the wildest, most explosive one yet. The new trial kicked off 6 months later in a packed Memphis federal courthouse moved to a bigger venue because the original one couldn't handle the crowd or the security nightmare, metal detectors, extra scanners, snipers on rooftops, the whole 9 yards. Outside, protesters from both sides clashed, daily signs reading Gotti framed versus no justice, no peace, the air thick with tension, tear gas canisters ready, police horses stomping the pavement. Fans flew in from all over the country, some wearing CMG hoodies, others rocking Justice for Stone shirts. The media circus was unreal. CNN, Fox, Complex, TMZ all camped out 24/7, streaming every second, hoping for the next viral moment. Inside, Yo Gotti sat at the defense table looking sharper than ever, fresh haircut, tailored suit, no shackles this time because the judge had granted bail under strict conditions, ankle monitor, house arrest when not in court, but he still carried that quiet intensity, eyes scanning the room like he was reading every face for lies. His new legal team was stacked, top-tier attorneys who had handled high-profile cases before, one of them a former federal prosecutor who switched sides because he believed the evidence screamed setup. They came loaded with experts, forensic document analysts, DNA specialists, even a body language expert to dissect witness testimonies. The prosecution looked confident but rattled. The DA himself took the lead, saying this isn't about street justice, this is about murder, plain and simple. New trial or not, the facts remain. Yo Gotti pulled the trigger, end of story. Opening statements dropped like bombs. Defense went first, painting Yo Gotti not as a killer but as a victim of the ultimate betrayal, manipulated, fed false information by people he trusted most. They called it the perfect frame job. Someone wanted Stone dead, someone wanted Gotti locked up, and someone wanted CMG weakened for takeover. The attorney paced in front of the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, this case isn't about revenge, it's about deception. The real killer is still free. Laughing while my client rots. The jury leaned in, some nodding, others skeptical but hooked. Prosecution fired back hard, calling the defense conspiracy nonsense, pure deflection. They replayed the original surveillance footage, grainy but damning. Yo Gotti and his crew rolling up, guns out, flashes in the night, Stone dropping the audio of Yo Gotti allegedly yelling, "This for my brother." Before the final shots, the courtroom went silent. You could hear hearts beating. Then came the witnesses, and that's when the fireworks really started. Diamond took the stand again, this time under heavy protectionist marshals flanking her. She looked different, thinner, eyes hollow but voice steady. She recanted her recantation, saying, "Look, I lied before because I was scared, but now I am telling the full truth under oath. Nobody threatened me to flip the first time. It was money, straight cash from a CMG insider who said if I helped pin it on Gotti I'd get paid for life." She named the manager point blank. The courtroom gasped. Yo Gotti's manager, who was sitting in the gallery, jumped up. "No, that's a lie, she's lying." The judge banged the gavel. "Order, you are out." Marshals moved in fast, escorting him to a side room for questioning. Right then and their fans watching live streams went wild, chat exploding with snake emojis, fire flames, calling him out by name. Cross-examination was brutal. Prosecution tore into Diamond, asking, "Why should we believe you now? You've changed your story 3 times." She broke down crying on the stand, "Because I have a daughter and I can't live with this guilt anymore. I helped frame an innocent man, not innocent of everything but innocent of killing the wrong person. Stone did kill his brother. I saw the proof myself, but the manager told me to say otherwise or my kid would pay." The jury shifted uncomfortably, some jurors wiping eyes, others scribbling notes furiously. Next up, the surprise witness, the one Yo Gotti's team had been teasing, an older street dude named Big T who claimed he was Stone's right-hand. Back in the day, Big T walked in slow, cane in hand, oxygen tank rolling behind him, but his voice boomed when he spoke. He said, "Stone confessed to me the night before he died. He said he never touched Yo Gotti's little brother. That hit was put on him by somebody higher up, paid him to act like he did it so the real shooter could stay clean." Big T pulled out a faded photo of Stone with Yo Gotti's brother smiling together. No beef, no tension, just 2 young dudes from the same hood. He said they was cool until somebody poisoned the well. The defense introduced an old burner phone recording, Big T swearing Stone laughed about how easy it was to take the fall for 10 grand and a promise of protection that never came. Prosecution hammered Big T on cross. "You expect us to believe a career criminal with a rap sheet dating back to the 90s? No sir, this is perjured testimony, bought and paid for." Big T just shrugged. "I ain't got long left on this earth. Why would I lie now? God watching." The envelope DNA bombshell came next. Independent lab results showed the saliva on the stamp didn't match Stone or Yo Gotti. It matched a partial profile close enough to a cousin on Yo Gotti's side, one who had gone ghost right after the original shooting, the cousin who had argued with Gotti over money months before the murder, the one who mysteriously got a new car and a new crib right around the time Stone got taken out. The defense paraded experts who said the odds of it being coincidence were astronomical, 1 in billions. The jury murmured. The courtroom buzzed. Yo Gotti's mother in the front row whispered, "Thank you, Jesus, thank you." But the prosecution wasn't done. They brought in a jailhouse informant who claimed Yo Gotti bragged in county about how he got away with it until the letter surfaced. The informant described details only someone inside would know. Yo Gotti's tattoos, the way he paced when stressed. The defense ripped him apart, showing phone records proving the informant was in solitary the week the alleged conversation happened. No contact possible. The informant crumbled under pressure, admitting he got a reduced sentence for testifying. The jury looked disgusted. Closing arguments were epic. Defense ended with Yo Gotti himself taking the stand one last time. No notes, just from the heart. He looked at the jury dead in the eyes and said, "I ain't asking y'all to like me or forgive me. I did what I did thinking it was right, but if I was played, if somebody used my pain to set me up, then punish the right people. Don't let them win by keeping me locked while the real snake slithers free." He paused, tears welling for the first time. Public tears. "Mama, I love you. Sis, I love you. Brother, I am sorry. I couldn't protect you better, but I am fighting for the truth now. Whatever y'all decide, I accept it." He sat down, the room so quiet you could hear the clock ticking. Prosecution closed strong, reminding everyone a man is dead. Bullets don't lie, motive don't erase murder, but even their delivery felt less certain, like the ground was shifting under them. Deliberations lasted 4 days. Tense updates leaking daily. Hung jury rumors, split decisions, fans outside praying, holding vigils, lighting candles. Yo Gotti's music played on loop from car speakers down the block. Finally the jury filed in, faces unreadable. The foreperson stood. "We the jury find the defendant not guilty on the charge of first-degree murder." Gasps, cheers, sobs, chaos. The judge banged for order, but it was useless. Fans rushed the barriers outside screaming, "Gotti free, Gotti free." His mother collapsed in joy. His sister jumped screaming, "We did it, we did it." Yo Gotti stood slowly, hugged his lawyer, then turned to the gallery, found his mother's eyes and mouthed, "Thank you." The system had finally cracked open enough to let truth slip through, but as he walked out, a free man, technically pending paperwork. The streets whispered, "This ain't the end. The real killer still out there. The betrayals still fresh. The family still fractured. CMG still standing but scarred." The king was back, but the crown felt heavier than ever, and somewhere in the shadows someone was watching, knowing the next move could be the deadliest yet. Because in Memphis, when blood calls blood, it don't stop at not guilty. It just gets quieter until the next shot rings out. The not guilty verdict hit like a thunderclap. Nobody saw coming. Even Yo Gotti himself looked stunned for a split second before that famous smirk crept back across his face. The courtroom erupted into pure pandemonium. Cheers from one side, boos and shouts of injustice from the other. His mother rushed forward through the chaos, hugging him so tight the marshals had to gently pull her back, tears streaming down her face, saying, my baby, God brought you home." His sister was right behind her, screaming, we told y'all, the truth always wins." Fans in the gallery jumped up and down, phones recording every second. Live streams crashing from the sudden surge. The judge banged the gavel over and over for order, but it was useless. This moment belonged to the streets, to the family, to the fans who had prayed vigils, held signs, fought online battles for months. Yo Gotti walked out those courthouse doors a free man, technically still facing some lingering charges, but the big one, the murder one that could have buried him forever, was gone. He stepped into sunlight, flanked by his legal team, his mother clinging to one arm, his sister on the other. CMG chain gleaming again like it never left. A crowd of hundreds waited outside, roaring his name, Gotti, 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 signs waving free at last. Justice served. Some held up old album covers, others new CMG flags. The energy was electric. Memphis felt alive again, like the city itself exhaled after holding its breath for years. He paused at the top of the steps, raised one fist, and just said, "Thank y'all. Real talk, y'all kept me going." The crowd lost it completely. But freedom didn't mean peace, not even close. The real killer or killers were still out there. According to everything that came out in trial, the cousin whose DNA was on that envelope had vanished days before the verdict resurfaced. Rumors said he fled to Atlanta or maybe overseas with a fat stack from whoever orchestrated the whole setup. The manager, who got named on the stand, lawyered up and went radio silent, but leaks said he was cooperating, quietly trading info for immunity. Diamond disappeared too, last seen boarding a flight to Miami with her daughter. Nobody knew if she was running from threats or just running from the guilt. The family that was already fractured splintered even more. Yo Gotti's sister called out cousins by name on live, saying, "Y'all know who y'all are, don't think this over." His mother tried to play peacemaker, hosting a big family dinner the night after the verdict, but half the table didn't show up. Old grudges too deep, new suspicions too fresh. Yo Gotti wasted no time getting back to work. CMG dropped a victory track the very next week called Crown Back On, featuring unreleased verses from his brother layered in as a tribute. The beat hit hard, the lyrics raw, talking about betrayal, snakes in the grass rising from the ashes. It debuted at #1 streaming records. Shattered fans flooded the comments with Crown's hearts praying hands, saying, "The king is back stronger than ever." But underneath the celebration, questions lingered. Who really killed his brother? Was Stone just a patsy, or did he pull the trigger? After all, how deep did the setup go? Was it money, power, jealousy, or something darker tied to the streets, the label, the feds? Yo Gotti himself stayed mostly quiet in interviews, saying only the truth coming out piece by piece. But watch me, I am building bigger this time, nobody touching my circle again. The rap game reacted in waves. Drake posted a story with a photo of Yo Gotti from back in the day captioned "Real ones bounce back." Young Thug's camp stayed silent, but old subliminals popped up in group chats saying some kings fall and stay down, others just fake the comeback. Beefs that had been on pause reignited, subtle at first then louder, rival artists dropping bars about framed kings and paid verdicts. The internet turned into a battlefield again. Team Gotti versus everybody else. Memes, edits, conspiracy threads going viral daily. One theory claimed the whole trial was a PR stunt to boost streams. Another said the feds let him walk to flip him on bigger fish. The rabbit holes never ended. Months passed and the dust started settling. Yo Gotti headlined his first show since release, sold out in minutes. Memphis turned up like never before, the crowd chanting his name before he even hit the stage. When he walked out, the roar was deafening. He performed Crown Back on last, tears in his eyes, dedicating it to his brother, to his mama, to everybody who held him down. He said from the mic, "Y'all don't know what these walls do to a man, but y'all kept my name alive. Thank you for real." The show ended with fireworks, CMG flags waving, everybody feeling like they won together. But late nights when the lights went down, Yo Gotti reportedly still paced those same mansion floors, replaying everything: the call about his brother the night of the shooting, the letter, the trial, the faces of people he once called family. He told one close friend in a leaked audio clip, "I ain't sleeping till every snake is out my garden, every lie exposed, every debt paid, blood for blood, truth for truth." The friend said he sounded calm but dangerous, like a man who had stared death in the face and decided he wasn't done fighting. The family tried to heal his mother through Sunday dinners again, this time smaller, just the ones who showed loyalty. His sister started a foundation in his brother's name, helping kids in the hood stay off the streets, saying if we can stop one more mama from losing her babies, then something good came from all this pain. Yo Gotti donated quietly, big checks, no press, no photos, just action, the way he always moved. Yet the shadow lingered, the unanswered questions, the ghost of what really happened that night on that Memphis block. The streets still whispered names, the feds still watched, the betrayers still hid, and Yo Gotti still hunted in his own way, quietly building, watching, waiting. Because in this world, when you pull the trigger thinking it's justice and find out you might be been the pawn, the game don't end with a verdict, it just levels up. And now here we are, the saga that shook the rap world, from courtroom to streets, from heartbreak to comeback, still unfolding, with more twists probably coming, because legends like Yo Gotti don't fade, they evolve, they fight, they win, or they go down swinging. But one thing is for sure, the king is back, the crown is heavier, but it's still his, and the story ain't over, not by a long shot. Yo, if you made it this far, you know this drama had us all on edge. Drop a like if you're Team Gotti all the way, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the next chapter, because trust me, when more tea spills I am dropping it first. Comment below, was Yo Gotti right to seek revenge, or did the system finally get it right? Let me know your wildest theory about who the real snake is. Share this with your crew and let's keep the conversation going. Peace, love, and stay locked in, fam.